Hello, my loves, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela, and I'm a hypnotherapist and spiritual mentor. And I am just really passionate about sharing my own healing journey and the things that come through for me on a daily basis in the hopes that they might help somebody else to feel less alone. And I just ran out of the shower. I jumped out of the shower to make a video, which is the first of its kind that I've ever made on my YouTube channel, which is just a message that I received from my higher self that made me feel so much more at peace with where I'm at in my life right now. And I know that when I receive these messages, they are not just for me, but for the collective and for anybody who really resonated with the title of this video. If you're drawn to this video, know that this message is for you too. And the message is that sometimes we can get so caught up in our spiritual awakening as we become the observer of our life, as we become the observer of our thoughts and our narratives, and we start to want to transition into new beliefs and new narratives that are serving us more. We can get caught up in this role of the observer and confuse the observer with the voice of our higher self. If we are not careful, sometimes we will be so heavily in this observational state that it becomes this perfectionistic thing where we are overanalyzing every limiting belief, every feeling, every thought that we have, and doing so in the hopes that we can change it and resist it instead of really being curious as to why these thoughts and feelings are showing up in the first place, and understanding that the things that we do, the things that we think, and the things that we feel, they're all valid and they're all coming from somewhere. And so I found myself being in this place of being an observer of my life without developing the deep compassion that it takes to not just observe your life, but really transform it from a place of wholeness, from a place of self-love, and from a place that actually works, that actually gives and creates the safety that we need to heal and to move into these higher vibrational states. And so I was just noticing that the voice of the observer within me, even though I thought I was noticing, becoming aware, not judging, I was actually trying to grip onto control of my life. And it was in this perfectionistic way where it's like, if I had any negative thought, I would immediately try to run away from it and shift into a more positive outlook. And what I've realized is that that doesn't work. That is a Band-Aid solution. What works is becoming aware of what we feel, becoming aware of these patterns, and getting very, very curious. Oh, I wonder where that comes from. Not with an attachment to changing it, not with an attachment to being in this high vibrational state, but with this desire to understand yourself better and to know that nothing that you feel, nothing that you think is an accident. There's nothing wrong with you. Yes, a lot of these beliefs are your programming, but most of what you absorbed is what you learned that you needed to do to survive, what you learned that you needed to do to be safe in the world. So judging yourself for it instead of being curious about it is actually going to prolong these thoughts. It's going to be really, really hard to change your beliefs with that lens. And so the message that my higher self gave me is to not confuse the voice of the observer, that is still a human voice, that is still rooted in ego sometimes, with the voice of my higher self. The voice of your higher self is always going to be so compassionate, so loving, so understanding, and knowing that exactly where you are in life right now is exactly where you're meant to be. You didn't mess anything up. You aren't just randomly in this lower vibrational state for no reason. There is reason underneath of that. And when we can seek to explore and understand ourselves better, that is where the healing starts. Your higher self, my higher self, also wants us to know that when you come to Earth with a really big mission, we can feel it, right? We know when we are meant to be of service in this really, really huge way. Sometimes the bigger the mission, the more we have to kind of weave through and sort through to get there. And what I've noticed is that there are times when I feel really hopeless. And there are times when I just feel like I really want to give up. I felt that way this morning. That's why this message came through so strongly. There are times when we feel like it's all too much and this human experience is too much and it's just, I don't want to do it anymore. And I want you to know that those feelings are also valid It is not all of who you are. You aren't a hopeless person. You had a sensation of feeling hopeless because you felt overwhelmed. I felt overwhelmed. And so when we can validate that, yes, being human is challenging. Having a big mission, knowing that you're here to make a big impact, it's scary. It's overwhelming. Sometimes we don't have all the answers, even though we want to have them. We don't. And so it is normal to feel hopeless when you feel like you're carrying this big mission inside of you and you're not really exactly sure how that's all going to play out. It can feel really, really scary and really, really unsettling and unregulating. So I wouldn't be me if I didn't leave you with a little ritual to be able to embody this compassion and love for yourself even more and truly embody your higher self energy rather than the judgmental observer who's trying to get you to be perfect on your spiritual journey. Those two things don't really go hand in hand. It's really about how much compassion you can develop for yourself, how much acceptance can you develop for what you are feeling and thinking on a daily basis, and through that accepting it so much and loving it so much that you feel an opening, a true opening inside of you that feels natural to want to move towards better feeling thoughts and better feeling emotions. So the ritual is just going to be a hug, giving yourself a hug and calling on your higher self to channel through you unconditional love and compassion for where you are in life, knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You didn't mess anything up. Your soul has been through so much more than you know, so much more than you are consciously aware of. So even if you don't feel like you should be justified in feeling this way, know that there is so much under the surface that you don't know. And just bring yourself so much compassion and know that you are on your path. And the more compassion you can have for yourself, the clearer that will become. Thank you so much for tuning into this. If this resonated with you, I would absolutely love to know in the comments, and I will continue to jump out of whatever I'm doing to share these higher self messages with you. Thank you so much for watching.